Hey, what's going on, guys? It's GeneralTarheel, bringing you the APA Season 6 Week 11 team build versus Coach Piplup and the New England Piplups. Now, coming after Week 10, we did finally get a loss, ending our win streak against Coach Point Blank and the Winnipeg Blue Blastoise. And just something interesting to bring up, he didn't actually mean to bring Calm Mind, he meant for it to be Dazzling Gleam, but he misclicked when he was doing his last second team build. It didn't really make a difference because my team wouldn't have been able to break defense at that point because I got risky with Chandelier. I didn't really have too many things that could actually like kill Manaphy. I really should have brought like say Raichu or something. But it's alright. We didn't really need that loss because I feel like it's better for us to actually be second in our division because first in our division is here Mr. Piplup, Dr. Piplup, Dr. Professor Piplup. So see, he has to take on, I believe, number 2 in another division, which will most likely be Hugo. And even though I don't really want to face Coach Deadbolt and his Lando Eye and his Mega Scizor and stuff, I also don't want to face Hugo. So if I did get first in this league, I would face Hugo. Hugo's a scarier team against mine, and he's better. I only beat him because I hacked the crap out of him. But so I'd actually kind of prefer to face Deadbolt just because we already beat him. So I'm actually fine getting second place overall. But no doubt I want to try and beat Piplup because he's actually doing very well in the league. He's number 2 overall right behind Panther. Panther, of course, did already win his week 11. Panther's 11-0. He's one game away from going 12-0 for the season. And he's going to win round 1 of the playoffs. But anyways, so for Piplup's roster here, we got his Totem Pick Leafeon, Mega Glalie, which is unusual. You got the very strong Victini, Gengar, Staraptor, Ferrothorn, Scolipede, Haxorus, Alamomola, Primarina, Hitmonlee, and there is something in that last ball, it's Stunfisk. I hate how its sprite has to be that flat, but whatever. So his draft is actually really strong. He decided to pick a very low Mega and Mega Glalie that gave him plus 80 points, and that allowed him to get 4 tier 2s. Gengar was actually a tier 2. Probably wasn't the brightest thing, because just because it lost Levitate doesn't mean it's that much weaker. It's actually it's still a really good Pokemon. The only thing is that, you know, it's not immune to ground type attacks and it comes in on spikes, but that's it. So in my opinion, Gengar should still be a tier 1 because it's fast and it's a hard hitter, and the Z-move capability for it is very strong. So that definitely needs to be fixed for next season in my opinion, because Piplup has a very strong team based off of that. Basically getting 2 tier 1s with 3 tier 2s, which is amazing. He definitely works very well with that Victini. He normally brings a special Victini, and people still seem to prep for the V-Crate, which I know is scary, but majority of the time I notice this guy only brings special Victini, which is weaker, but I guess he just relies on people building for the V-Crate. He uses Gengar pretty effectively. He likes bringing Ferrothorn with the spikes and such. Staraptor he does well with, whether he brings a Final Gambit version or it is the Reckless Brave Bird. Scolipede, sometimes he brings a bulky Speed Pass, even though I don't see him needing that to do against mine. Doesn't use Haxorus as much. I did use Haxorus in one league, and I always brought a Dragon Dance set, and I would tell my opponents I'm doing that, and I still picked up like 13 plus kills with it in that league, which was pretty cool. But he likes Primarina, it's pretty bulky. And I think that's kind of where he's going to go around with my team, so as for what I expect him to bring compared to his roster, definitely Victini. It just, the only thing that's going to change in my opinion is whether it's going to be a choice score or a choice ban. Choice ban just crazy amounts of damage versus my team with that V-Create. I'm expecting a physical, because the fact is my physical defenses consist in like Chestnut, Milotic, and then Bronzong and somewhat a Gigalith. Milotic loses to Bolt Strike, so that's why he needs to go offensively invested. Because the special offensive energy ball Victini, that's not going to be doing like anything. Also, he gets the risk of me using Mirror Coat, so physical really helps him. Also, because if he has to take on Gigalith, I don't get the special. I get the special defense base in the sand, but he doesn't have to worry about that because he's physical. Because V-Create will still do a crazy amount of damage, considering most of the time Gigalith isn't defense invested. Just that coverage really just destroys my team. Choice ban V-Create. Bolt Strike, of course, like I said, for the Milotic. U-turn just for the momentum in case he doesn't want to just get as much damage off me with V-create. And then trick, this is just in case he wants to get it off on, say, Reuniclus or Milotic or something of the sort. I feel like the trick can also be switched out with something else. It could be psychic type of coverage. It could also be something in order to hit Chandelure, since he doesn't have super effective coverage for that yet so far that I put down. But mainly I'm expecting Choice Band V-create, and that's just going to be the end of my existence, just about. I will just have to predict whether or not he's going for a Bolt Strike on the possible incoming Milotic switch in, or if he's just going for the hard V-create. Because V-create, even though it is really good base 180 physical fire type attack, which makes Victini so good, really interested in using Victini in another league one time. It does lower his speed, defense, and special defense, so he's very susceptible to attacks right after a V-create. So if I can live one, then I can get a lot off, and then maybe the Victini can't harm me anymore. And then next up, I am seeing a defensive Alamola with mixed HP and special defense. Special defense, it just needs some of it just because it's abnormally weak with that base 45 special defense. But basically, have a max defense just so he can take on Excadrill and Mega Pinsir pretty well, because those are our main physical attackers. And also, it can still eat a Bolt Strike from like Kyurem Black, basically, since Kyurem Black doesn't get stabbed from that Bolt Strike. That's mainly it around the defensive Alamola. It's one of his main defensive cores that he normally brings. It's got that amazing regenerator ability mainly, because if I don't bring, like, say, setup Excadrill, which I normally do, but if I would say bring a Scarf Excadrill, then it can easily come in on Excadrill every single time. He also has, of course, the Scald just to hit, Toxic in order to hit things such as get status on stuff on some of my tanks. I have Wish, of course, for the health, and then Protect in order to get the Wish. That's what makes Alamola very annoying. Also, it's just very helpful when it gets Wish and Regen, because it can Wish, switch out, something else gets the Wish, but Alamola still gets health from the Regenerator. It's honestly ridiculous. Mega Love Disc right here, it's pretty bulky. They made it at tier 3 this season, which I feel like it's kind of overrated. I mean, I know Alamola is bulky, but it's not worth tier 3 because it's kind of setup fodder, because not normally people run Haze on it. Also, it's not that good special defensively, so... And then next up, Ferrothorn. I definitely see him bringing a double hazard stack with Stealth Rock Spikes, because I only have Rapid Spin and Excadrill, and the majority of the time I don't bring it, especially if he checks my team builds, he will see that. So I have Stealth Rock, Spikes, Gyro Ball, and Thunder Wave. Gyro Ball, of course, because I have kind of speed threats on my team, and then Thunder Wave to cripple some other things like Kyurem Black, Mega Pinsir, anything of the sort. He could opt for a Grass type move in order to hit Milotic if he wants this to be a switch-in, but I feel like this thing would just be better in order to come in on physical threats, as well as certain special attacking threats. Those hazards are going to be a main problem for me, and they'll be really annoying. And, sorry. The Iron Barbs gets really annoying with Ferrothorn too, with any possible physical attack I might want to go for. I was debating whether or not I should go, whether or not he's bringing Rocky Helmet, but I feel like he'll just bring leftovers, because I do have the opportunity of just hitting with, like, Earthquake on Excadrill majority of the time. And then next up, the Sweeping Hitmonlee, which is actually pretty scary. This is the normal gem on Burden set. He does have the option of bringing Choice Scarf Reckless High Jump Kick. Basically just like the Mean Shao we faced week 1, but not as much damage just based off of the attack. But the normal gem Fake Out basically gets it to where it's a free agility with damage, because the Unburden gives it ×2 speed. And it does go away though if he switches out, that's important to know. And then you just get strong coverage and a high jump kick for the amazing stab, knockoff in order to hit Reuniclus, and then I have Rock Slide in case he has to be on Mega Pinsir, even though really a quick attack from Mega Pinsir kills this thing. I mean, only base 50 HP and 53 defense. This thing doesn't live from Mega Pinsir, so it doesn't matter if he has a speed boost. I feel like a quick attack would easily kill this thing. But it's just another thing of coverage that he might bring. So Hitmonlee can definitely do damage later on in the game if I'm not careful. It is possible he's just a Choice Scarf set instead of an Unburden set, because the high jump kick will just still do a lot considering my team is susceptibly weak to fighting type coverage. And then next up I see Gengar with Focus Blast, Shadow Ball, Energy Ball, and a Will-O-Wisp. Now I am expecting a Fightinium Z on Gengar. This way he can easily get a very strong base 130, sorry, base 120 special attack with its base 130 special attack. That sounded confusing at that point, but anyways, a very strong hit with fighting coverage again that my team's very weak to, unlike say possible Gigalith, Curum Black, Excadrill, etc., etc. Because Focus Blast does have a chance to miss, but with that Founding EMZ, it is a for sure hit, and then that's just so much damage to me. And then I have Will-O-Wisp just in case he does get the outspeed on something and he wants to cripple it with that. He does have the option of bringing another attacking move, of course, or say Destiny Bond, but I feel like Will-O-Wisp would be pretty helpful for him. And then lastly, Mega Glalie. This thing is actually stronger than I thought it was. I didn't know it had 120 in attack and special attack. And it gets the Refrigerate ability. We have Return, Ice Shard, Freeze Dry, and Earthquake. Return, of course, gets boosted just like Aerial 8 with Mega Pinsir, but it turns into Ice type coverage. Ice Shard for the priority, just in case he needs to get priority against Mega Pinsir. And then Freeze Dry, this is in order to hit water types, mainly Milotic. We'll do a decent amount of damage. I don't know if it's a 2-hit KO or not. I actually believe it is, considering it's super effective damage, but that's something I'm going to watch out for, considering Milotic is 100% a switch into this thing. And then Earthquake, this is in order to hit any possibility in Chandelure, and mainly just Chandelure, also to get super effective hits off of, like, say, Excadrill and Gigalith, stuff like that. He can opt to bring Crunch instead. This is mainly because he's not capable of hitting Bronzong with this moveset, and then Crunch would still allow him to hit the Chandelure as well as the Bronzong, and get super effective damage on the Reuniclus if you'd like. But mainly the Earthquake is a for sure kill on the Chandelure, which is pretty important, because if I'm not Scarf, he's going to want to make sure he can kill me. And then as for my team, it was kind of a little bit scary to work around. But I have Bronzong here with the Okaberry. Now, I know I could run Heat Proof with Bronzong, but I still wanted to run Levitate. This way, Mega Glalie cannot touch me unless it does have the dark coverage. I just wanted to keep the Levitate just in case. Also, he might fear Heat Proof or something of the sort. So I am bringing Stealth Rock, Trick Room, Hidden Power Fire, and Earthquake. I feel like the Hidden Power Fire might switch out for Gyro Ball, but as of right now, I'm going to keep it just so I can put damage on Ferrothorn to scare it out, possibly. But I plan on leading this Pokemon turn 1. And I'm actually going to show you what I plan on leading with the second turn next. But Stealth Rock mainly I want to get up first, and then Trick Room the following. I only have one Trick Room Abuser, but it's very important. It's something I mentioned last week. Hidden Power Fire, of course, is only for that Ferrothorn, and I should probably switch it out with Gyro Ball in case I have to go up against, like I said, the Glalie, or if there's an incoming Gengar, switch in if he thinks I'm going to get Stealth Rocks, something of the sort. It would be very, very helpful to get Gyro Ball, because that would do a good amount of damage versus team. And then I have Earthquake. This is mainly because I do eat a V-Create versus the Victini, if it is Choice Band. And because it gets that -1 defense, I will be able to get off an Earthquake, and that will do around 73 to 80 per... No, that's a low range. I believe the max range is 77 or something like that to Victini with Earthquake after a -1 defense if he has no form of HP investment, which is actually pretty important. So Bronzong's definitely going to do work. It's mainly going to be for possible Tier 1, whether he lead Tier 1, Turn 1, in case he leads Victini. Also just helps me get Stealth Rocks up already. And the person I have using that Trick Room is Xploud, Caps Lock here. Like I said last week, I almost brought it first point blank, and it actually probably would have been more helpful if I did. I probably would have won that game. Well, not win, but at least do a lot more damage. I am bringing Silk Scarf in order to confuse him, thinking I am a normal spec set. I have Boom Burst, Protect, Flamethrower, Substitute. So the point of this coverage is Boom Burst, of course, to get the easy one-shot on whatever wants to come in. It 2-hit KOs everything. The only things that live is a Alomomola can live. It does a like a 67 to 80 roll on Alomomola, I believe, unless it's full, like a lot of special defense investment. Boom Burst, of course, doesn't do like much to Ferrothorn, but other than that, it basically KOs the rest of his team. The only other thing that could possibly live is Stunfisk can probably live, and Primarina can eat too. It will do around 68%, I think it does, to Primarina. if I remember that calc correctly. Flamethrower, of course, is once he thinks I'm a choice specs, he can think he can bring in Ferrothorn. Also, Ferrothorn will still be slower than me if I do get up to trick him for X-Cloud. So that he might think it's an easy win-win, but then I just go for a Flamethrower the following turn on the Ferrothorn, and it is gone, it is out of the way. I do have Protect, this is just in case he has him on Lee, and I protect him going for the high jump kick. That way he'll lose 50, and then I can go for a Boom Burst the following turn. Because Boom Burst is actually a roll on Hitmonlee, because Hitmonlee has a nice natural base 110 special defense. So that's something I have to look out for. And I also do have Substitute, because I am capable of setting up substitutes on the Alomomola. Once again, Alomomola is setup fodder for sure. Even though it's not really set up with X-Cloud, it's just like a free hit basically, so that's important. And then lastly, of course, not lastly, that's the second one on my team. Let's go all the way back. So then I'm bringing Excadrill, of course, and I did not put in the move yet, but I'm definitely going to make this Rapid Spin. I was debating, but that definitely is what I need to do. Swords Dance, Earthquake, Iron Head, Rapid Spin. After Sand Rush with a +2 Groundinium Z, nothing can live. I want to save that Groundinium Z specifically for Alomomola. And then I can just use 2 Earthquakes on Ferrothorn, and then the rest of his team dies. +2 Earthquake kills everything after that. I do have to bring a max speed Jolly because Hitmonlee is only 1 base speed lower than Excadrill, which is beautiful. If it is that Unburdened set, because in Sand I will still get outspeed and Earthquake will for sure kill it. So that is very important. That's one reason I felt like I really needed to bring this. I was debating Raichu or whether I was going to go Excadrill, but I felt like Excadrill is going to be very helpful this game no matter what. He does have the capability of bringing like a defensive Leafeon if he wants, because Leafeon's got that base 130, which is base defense, which is pretty stupid. I don't know why they give it to a grass type out of the EV sets, because you know, all evolutions have the same base stats, and there's a 130 always. For some reason, it's defense for Leafeon, but Excadrill could have a problem with that. It would take a few more Iron Heads, but Leafeon can't really do much back, so that's not too much to worry about. Basically, Excadrill is going to be a very good sweeper after X-Cloud can definitely weaken possible defensive options that he may have to Excadrill at one point, and then I can just sweep the game from there. And then Mega Pinsir, I am bringing basically the same set from last week: Swords Dance, Quick Attack, Return, and Substitute. This is mainly because I get a free substitute on the Alomomola, which is a most likely switch into Pinsir. Basically, unless he lives a normal return on something, then I get to get up a substitute. And then the Quick Attack priority is just very helpful against some very weak Pokemon that he has, like the Gengar. Because +2 Quick Attack does a lot versus the things that outspeed me, as well as things could be a problem. If he does bring the Stunfisk, I do have to weaken that in order for Pinsir to do anything. I was debating bringing Earthquake in order for me to hit it, but I don't see Stunfisk as that much as a possibility, considering I do get a lot of ground coverage on my team, and as well as I have my Lodic that gets an easy outspeed and I can get off Scalds, and I have Chestnut that I can take it on. Reunion can basically eat anything from it because it's not that strong. I just don't see it coming. He could bring it. It's definitely a possibility, but I just don't expect it. And I do have Hyper Cutter on Pinsir just because there's a capability of him having an Intimidate Staraptor, even though it would be most likely Reckless Scarf, just in case he brings Intimidate, because I do have a lot of attack on my team. It's just something I have to watch out for. But Swords Dance, Quick Attack, Return will definitely do a lot versus team. I have to weaken Ferrothorn and Alomomola in order to kill them. After a +2 Swords Dance Return, we'll do around 80% max to Alomomola, and I want to say 83 to Ferrothorn. They're very similar ranges. They just need to get a little bit weakened in order for Mega Pinsir to actually kill them. Of course, that just depends if they're max defense or something of the sort. And then, of course, I have the Sandsetter, Zack Stone, going along with Excadrill. Leftovers, no Smooth Rock this week. I just don't want to harm my team too much than I need to. It would be helpful for his team, but against his team. But I feel like Leftovers would just be somewhat helpful because this is kind of a switch into Gengar. Ideally, not 100%, but the special defense boost is very helpful. I'm using the Stone Edge, Stealth Rock, Toxic Earthquake. Stone Edge, of course, for the stab, even though I don't like the accuracy, I want to go for power. I have the Stealth Rock in case I just need to get it up. Now, the possible thing with, so this Stealth Rock's would be very helpful, but the possibility of turn 1, if I go, Bronzong, and he leads, say, Gengar, then I can go hard into the Gigalith here, and then I can get up the Stealth Rocks the following turn. So either way, I'm getting Stealth Rocks up at the beginning of the battle. I just want to limit the Victini, because that thing's going to be a pain, especially Staraptor if that also comes. And then he's also got weakness in Scolipede, and the Mega Glalie as well. So it's just a lot of things that he has weak to rocks that I want to capitalize, and that'll be very helpful for me. I have Toxic just for the Alamola, because that could definitely be a switch into Gigalith here, because that's like free wishes and whatnot. I can't do much back because I do get a boost from the special defense, and its Scald isn't that strong anyways. But here's a possible switch in. I would be expecting just a Ferrothorn switch in on Gigalith instead of a Alamola, but I still want to bring Toxic just in case I could spread it on his team as much as I want. And then Earthquake in case I just want to hit Gengar for that super effective damage, and as well not risk missing Stone Edge. It also lets me get to neutral damage on Ferrothorn without taking damage from Iron Barbs. And I was about to opt Superpower, but I felt like this was a better bet, considering I wouldn't take damage from Iron Barbs and possible Rocky Helmet. And this way I still do a minimum damage to it if needed. So, and then lastly I have Katara. Milotic leftovers. I was debating what Clonberry for the Bolt Strike against Victini, but I felt like this was a decent enough set because I feel like I can do certain switches to Victini to where I scare it out later on anyways. So we have Scald, Recover, Toxic Ice Beam, the most basic Milotic set, but definitely going to work effectively. Scald, of course, to hit anything on team, get a possible burn on his physical attackers. I have Recover in order to get any form of health back that need be. Toxic is to be very helpful against the Alamola, as well as other possible things on his team. It's mainly there for the Alamola because that's definitely a switch in because I can't do much versus that, and he can just Wish Stall if he wants to. And then lastly, Ice Beam, that just allows me to get neutral damage off Ferrothorn. Super effective against possible Leafeon, as well as super effective on the Haxorus, which was kind of important. Other things, main switch-ins that he could do for the Milotic, which just end up Leafeon, which I'm not really expecting. He does have the Freeze Dry on the Mega Glalie, so that's kind of a switch-in. Stunfisk isn't really a switch-in, like I said already, because it's slower and it has to eat a Skull, and then it's going to do a Thunderbolt, and it's not even going to do that much damage. The Bolt Strike Victini is definitely one, but he has to make sure I'm not like a Wakanda, or else he screws himself over. Other than that, that's basically it. I'm mainly looking forward to, like, at the beginning, getting off the Trick Room and then Exploud doing a lot of damage versus team. It might not be too much, but it will definitely give me at least one kill, which is basically all I'm looking for in the beginning, especially if it can be on one of his defensive Pokemon. So, and then from there, I definitely want to get Mega Pinsir out, weaken it even more. Or I get Excadrill out in the sand. It just depends on what comes first, whether I can get Gigalith out and I already have sand up, then I can go Excadrill, get up a Swords Dance, and I have 3 turns of sand most likely in order for Excadrill to do some work. So that's kind of what I'm looking for into the battle, and then I just need to make proper switch-ins with like Bronzong, Gigalith, and Milotic for defense. But that'll be it for me. Make sure to check out the battle for tomorrow against Piplup. And also look forward to my draft analysis video for the SDL. That should be going up, I believe, on the Saturday if everything goes correctly. And I might also put my week 1 battle up already as well for a double upload on Saturday, depending on how well I'm doing with that. But it is the Showdown Draft League. Very basic name, but I joined the gents. It was people that I already played in the league with, and I joined them in their main one. And I have a very interesting team that I would like to go over. And that'll be it for me. Make sure to sub, like, share, deuces.